Okay, so now we're going to learn about the Greek alphabet, to alphabito. How to learn the Greek, to read Greek. So the first step is to learn the sounds of the individual letters and letter combinations. So there's 24 letters and then quite a few letter combinations. We're going to go through those soon. And just practice these from memorization. I've got two recommendations. One is the Duolingo website. I've mentioned that they don't currently have an app. Maybe they do if this is outdated. But yeah, the website's great just for practicing. And also I've put together some flashcards that I'm going to show you soon that you can use to also memorize the letter combinations, some also known as diphthongs, to be grammatically correct. So we'll go through those soon. And then the last one is to, once you've you can do that, it's to read Greek text alongside a native who can correct you, which is very important. Moving on, so just some general information. So Greek is a soft-spoken language. I'm going to go through the alphabet soon, so you'll get to know that. So just to give some examples, this is the letter gamma. You might know it as gamma rays in science. But you'll have noticed that I pronounced the first letter gamma, not gamma, because it's a soft-spoken language. Another example is kappa, which is the word for another letter. It's not kappa, it's kappa. It's quite a soft K. It's almost getting closer to a G. And then tav, which is not tav, it's tav. So it's getting closer to a D again. So that's what I'm saying when it's a soft spoken. It has a gentle rolling R. So we're not talking about, one of these Spanish arribas. It's just ro. Very, very, quite a subtle R. Nothing too eccentric. And that's the Greek letter ro, which again used in science. And then there's lots of ways to say E, and I have no idea why, there just is. So we've got the letter iota, which is E, the letter eta, which is also E, we have the letter ypsilon, which is E, and then we have this diphthong here, E, and then another E, but we're going to go through those pretty soon when we go through the alphabet. And then the last, most important point is to imitate what you hear. I remember when I learned how to say really in Greek, which is alithia. So I just say alithia. No, I didn't. I'd say alithia. But then I heard some Greek girl when I was in Greece, and she said alithia. Okay, well, I wouldn't imitate a girl exactly, but I heard lots of males as well saying alithia. And I noticed that they said it in a different way to me. I'd say alithia, and they'd say alithia. So then I copied off them, and it makes you sound more Greek. But anyway, let's move on to the actual alphabet. Okay, so I'm using a website called Cram. I'll also talk about the app which you can use. It's what I like for flashcards, and I have put the Greek alphabet into here. I'm going to attach the link to this underneath the video, so you can access these flashcards and learn the Greek alphabet from this if you wish. Alternatively, obviously, you can use Duolingo, but I think that the flashcards are fairly effective. Okay, first letter of the alphabet, we have alpha. We have the uppercase and lowercase, and it's just pronounced a, like in dad. Then we have vita, not beta, vita, just like a V. Then we have rama, which is pronounced r, which is not easy to pronounce, but you just remember that after a, o, u, or o, then it's a r noise, a bit like a G. For example, in the Greek word ramos, which means marriage. However, you can also pronounce the letter rama in a different way if the letter after rama is e, e, or e. Yeah, lots of e's. In that case, it would be pronounced like a y. For example, in this word, which means beard, yenya. So it's more like a y there. Here we have delta, which is pronounced th, epsilon, which is just pronounced e, zeta, which is just pronounced z, eta, which is just pronounced e, theta, which is just pronounced th, iota, which is pronounced e, kappa, which is pronounced k, lambda, which is pronounced l, mi, which is pronounced m. You might notice that in science some of these letters are used with they're pronounced differently, so that would be mu, whereas it would be mi in Greek. And then this would be ni, which is just n, x, just like the letter X, I guess. O, sorry, I didn't say the full letter of this. That would be xi. Full letter for this would be omicron, which is pronounced o. P, which is pronounced p. It's very soft, almost getting close to a B. Ro, which is just pronounced r. And then we have sigma. Now we have a capital sigma, lowercase sigma, and then this sigma would be at the end of a word. And then we have daf, which would be pronounced t. It's quite difficult to say by itself. An example, well, yeah, tav. This is an example. That's how you'd say it. Very soft T. E for ypsilon. Phi, which is just f. He, which is just h. And now I didn't even have an English example because you wouldn't have a letter which makes a h noise in English. It's kind of like a H, I guess, but in the back of your mouth. So an example of that word is one of the most commonly words used in Greek, which is I thank or thanks, which is efcharisto. So it just sounds a bit like a H. Psi, which is just ps, like ps. So you're trying to get someone's attention. But anyway, omera, which is o. And now we have the letter combination. So that's all of the letters. Okay, so the first letter combination is mi and p, and that makes a b noise. And then the next one is mi and p again, but the first one is when it's at the start of the word, whereas in this example it's not at the start of the word. And then it wouldn't make a b noise, but it'd make a mb noise, a little bit like ambush. Then we have ni and tav. At the start of a word would make a d noise. And then not at the start of the word would make a nd, a little bit like Andy. Then we have rama and kappa, which would make a g noise at the start of a word. And then the same letters would make a ng if it's not at the start of the word. Then we have gamma rama, which makes a ng again. We have alpha iota, which makes a e noise. We have epsilon iota, which makes a e. We have another e, that's omicron iota. And then we have an u noise, which is omicron epsilon, u. Then we have an av noise, but it can be av or ath, depending on the word. And then we have ev, as in every, and that concludes the combinations. Okay, so now we've covered the alphabet and the letter combinations. There's something else that is needed to be able to read Greek, and that is to understand and use accents. So what is an accent? Well, this thing here is an accent. It looks a bit like an apostrophe over the Greek letter epsilon. So this is the Greek word for never, and it's pronounced pote. And you'll have noticed that the way I said it was I emphasized this vowel. I said pote. I didn't say pote, I said pote. And that's essentially what an accent does to a word. You just emphasize that vowel very simply. And now I'm going to give you another Greek word. Pote. So they are spelt in terms of the letters the same, but it actually has a different meaning. This means never or ever, and this means when. So pote means when, and pote means never. So this just gives you a bit of an idea of just how important it is that you get the accents right on words, as you could miscommunicate quite badly with this example. So how do you memorize where the accents are? It's going to be difficult to remember, and especially if it's important. What I would suggest is that when you're learning Greek words, you overemphasize where the accent is. So for example, if I was learning the word never, I would say pote. Or if I really wanted to overemphasize it, I could say pote. And then for the word when, I'd say pote. And by doing that, I can remember where the accent is, which is important both for spelling, but most importantly for clear communication. Now, there is quite fortunate learning Greek now, because they now have a monotonous system, monotonos, which means they have a single accent or a single tone, which makes it easier to read. They used to have a lot more. However, there is, there's two of the symbols, but I'm just going to show you one, which is fairly, it's not super common, but you see it every once in a while. And it's this one here with two dots. And basically what it does is it splits this letter combination, or diphthong to be grammatically correct. So this is my last name, Dale, and this is how you'd write it in Greek. It would be Dale. So these two dots split the diphthong, so it's no longer E. Without those dots, it would just be Dil, which is not my name, but it would split the diphthong, so it would be De, I, L. De, so that's the letter combination De, E, I, L, Dale, which is about as close as you can get to my name, Dale. So that covers accents. Now we're going to try and do some Greek reading. So this is the first paragraph from the Ellinikos Hymnos, or the Greek national anthem. Okay, so I'm going to go through it slowly. So we've got gnorizo apo tin kopsi tu spathiu tin tromeri segnorizo apotin opsi u me via metrai ti. So that might sound just ridiculous, like I was a computer or something. So I'll go through it just reading normally, just a bit slower. Se gnorizo apo tin kopsi, tu spathiu tin dromeri. Se gnorizo apo tin opsi, pu me via metrai ti yi. Okay, so I've highlighted the letter combination. So this one makes an U noise. You do not read it O-I. That's if it wasn't a letter combination, that's how you pronounce it. You pronounce it as U. Here again, and this one creates the E noise. So now I'm going to read it one last time, but a little bit more like how a Greek would actually read it. So, se gnorizo ap tin kopsi, tu spathiu tin tromeri, se gnorizo ap tin opsi, pu me via metrai ti yi. Okay, so obviously I've not got a perfect Greek accent, but that's kind of how a Greek would read it. And it just comes with practice. The more and more you read, and as I mentioned earlier, when you're reading, it's ideal to have somebody who actually speaks Greek with you, either reading with you or just listening, and they can correct you. You can copy their accents, and they'll just make sure that you're reading correctly. So that is how to read Greek.